I would now like to call on stage Neil Williamson, the president of the Rotary Club of Penrith Valley and just one of the men who made this evening possible.
Thanks very much, everybody, for coming tonight. I just want to say a few words. I'm going to be as brief as possible because I feel very under-talented, like compared to these people we've got on stage. You've seen that we've had a number of sponsors. I want to thank them. I'm not going to name them all, I'll forget them, and someone will complain that they weren't mentioned, but you've seen their logos, and they are really wonderful people in our community. A lot of them are corporations that stand up and be counted. These lights are bright. I'd like to also say something about Rotary. Rotary, as you may know, or at least the Rotarians will know, is 113 years old this year. So it's an organisation, it's a global organisation of volunteers that are looking after humanitarian challenges, both local and abroad. It's an organisation that is apolitical. It has no religious affiliation. It even has atheists who help people. I don't know whether they would have got the idea to do that, but anyway, they're there. I've met them. One of the things that I'd like to tell you about Rotary for non-Rotarians, when we're talking about major projects, you may have heard about the End Polio project. That's a project that's been running by Rotary for something like 30 years. We've got to a point now, if you can remember back what polio was about, anyone who's my age or older will know that it was a scourge. It was a scourge in Australia. You saw plenty of young people, plenty of children that were walking around with calipers. You saw lots of people who were paralysed. Lots of people died from polio. It was an epidemic. A lot of you would probably have relatives that were affected by that. Well, Rotary went about a project to eradicate it from the face of the earth. And in 2016, they got down to 37 cases. I'm happy to say that Rotary now has got it down to 3 cases, and by next year, hopefully, polio will not exist. Rotary involves itself with international projects, and when we look at our project and our little club, Rotary Club of Penrith Valley, we've taken on a Nepalese project, and we had a project last year and we've got our project this year. It's a health project. It's a very basic project because what it's doing is it's health screening. It's looking at infection control, it's working with children, it's picking up dental caries, it's testing their eyesight, testing their hearing, it's teaching them about first aid. And the money that we raise tonight is going to go to that cause. The great thing about Rotary, against all other types of fundraising, is that we are volunteers. The money that you put in doesn't have deductions for salaried staff. It's all done by volunteers. So it's something like 93% of the money that's collected actually gets to where it's got to go. And in Nepal, one of the great things about Nepal is that these people are trying. They are easy to work with. They are a pleasure to work with. It's always hard, as you know, to lift a dead weight, but when people are willing to assist themselves, as these people have, as these musicians have, in terms of donating time and donating their skill and working to raise the standard of a community, then that has made the difference, and working with them has been a real honour. I don't want to bore you with more. I want to thank you again, because without you, it'd be a very lonely concert. But apart from it being lonely, the money that you've brought into this concert by coming and enjoying this night is going to help us to continue our project and continue our good work. I thank you. Have a great night.
Before we watch our closing act for the evening, I'd just like to say a few more thank yous. Thank you firstly to you all for coming and supporting this evening. This evening is going to a very charitable cause, as Neil has just said, so we really appreciate all the support that you bring so that we can support the Nepalese community. So thank you very much. Another thank you is to our sound and audio, Adrian. So thank you very much for making us sound beautiful. And also to our lighting, Kusal, Joshi, thank you very much for everything that you've done so you can see me. And one more thank you to the man, another man who is behind this evening, who will absolutely kill me for introducing him tonight, but I would love for him to come on stage. Kabin Joshi. This man right here has brought us all together. He has brought the artists, he's brought the dancers and also the contemporary Australian performances and put us all together and allowed us and welcomed us into his home to rehearse and practice. And we are so thankful for everything that you've done for this event. So without further ado, enjoy the last performance. Thank you.